Their human rights violations, be nicer, okay? And then getting off the gold standard. How did that help? That didn't help. That was a check and balance. I know Alex Jones talks about interest rates and how they're trying to destroy, now the Fed is trying to destroy the economy by raising interest rates. What does he mean by that? I know what he means. He knows that it's going to cause housing prices to go down because it's like just squeezing a balloon. I mean, you squeeze it and you might compress one area, but it's popping up somewhere else. So as interest rates go up, it's being popped over here. It's going to suppress the cost of housing. And as the cost of housing goes down, he thinks that's a loss for the public at large because the majority of people are still homeowners. So there's still a critical mass, this majority of critical mass establishmentarians that believe the lie because it profits them, it benefits them. They believe it does. They believe high housing costs are good, that it's good that the worth of my house keeps going up for no reason. In real estate school, they call it an unearned increment. Okay, it's like ill-gotten gain. Okay, there's no rhyme or reason why your property went up in value. It happened because your markets are being manipulated. It's price fixing, it's price rigging, it's regulation on the terms of the special interest groups that are in collusion with each other. Just like they do with diamonds. They've got warehouses full of diamonds. We could all walk around with 2 pockets full to the brim with diamonds. Everybody on earth could. But yet, if they regulate it on their terms, they can get a hefty price for those diamonds. And people are killing each other. We've all heard of blood diamonds. They're amputating, maiming people to get to these diamonds because of the value of these diamonds. No, it's sick and twisted philosophy. So look at what Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert say about this interest rates. Max believes, and firmly, that's the best thing to do, is to raise interest rates. And to me, it reminds me of the labor discussion and debate, where people say how bad it would be to raise the minimum wage workers because it's going to hurt businesses. And I say, do you realize that if you're a minimum wage worker in New York City and you've got a one-bedroom flat that costs you $3,000 a month, that the government, through Section 8, will pay Rich Dad or his kind, his ilk, $2,800. That's taxpayer money. That's my money. That's my $50 billion a year is going into it. That's my $2,800 a month is going to subsidize through this welfare program, Section 8, to pay that to Rich Dad. It goes in his pocket because the poor guy, the government says all he can afford to pay is $200. That's his share of expense. He's got a full-time minimum wage job. That's all he can afford, according to the government. Sounds reasonable, right? Do you understand? Let's be honest, folks. Be real. Be somebody. You don't have to answer to me, but you will have to answer the one that owns you. That's going to say, you really believe that was going to bring progress across the board? That was going to help the wealth disparity that's been going on? That's going to help decrease poverty? Or do you believe that just because it benefits you as a special interest group, say you're a homeowner, that's a special interest group in and of itself, which is a minority here in California now. A majority of people in California are renting now. So, let's talk about it. Let's get the discussion going. Let's get the ball rolling. Just be honest. You don't have to be intellectual. I don't mind getting intellectual discussion, but let's be logical. Let's be honest above all else. And let's be willing to do the math. And that's something I keep saying I'm willing to do. I'll show you how buying people houses is one hell of a lot cheaper, incalculably cheaper. I'll show you how if society just ended extreme, desperate poverty, how that would save us a fortune, okay? That crime would plummet overnight. You'd have a kinder, safer, gentler society. How that this idea of a minimum guaranteed income is not a bad thing. Is that ungodly? Is that something God? Oh, that's terrible. Is it? Okay. Is it? So who should be born with a silver spoon? And why should we allow it? If it's bad for them, no, we can't allow that. Why should the parents give them the money? What did the children do for that money? They didn't do anything. So all you people say, you can do it. You can succeed if you work hard, try really hard, and all this. So everybody's without excuse that can't succeed, that can't keep cracking that ever harder nut. Okay, it's your problem, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. It's unreasonable. It smacks of dishonesty, okay? It smacks of deception. It smacks of small-minded, brute beast kind of thinking, narrow-minded, and all this crap. So all the stuff that I despise, all these qualities. I don't despise the person, but I despise the thought system. And I wonder, are they being honest? Are they intentionally deceiving themselves and deceiving others by prescribing this belief system? Because I'm willing to, like I said, do the math. If you want to get intellectual, let's do the math then. It's not hard. It's as simple as 2 plus 2 always equals 4. Countless honest mathematicians will tell you that, but you could find a handful of dishonest mathematicians that, because it profits them, benefits them, and they get to be the ones that are the authorities dictating over other people, okay, this so-called reality of economic debate, okay? So, yeah. I think I know what I'm talking about on this subject, folks, and I'm willing to discuss, debate, converse about this with anybody and get to the bottom of it, because we're in this thing together, and if something benefits you, it's going to benefit me. I got a fly I got to deal with here. When it comes to economic stuff, yes, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And I've always say that my favorite way to fix things, to decrease the wealth and income disparity, not through taking from the haves to give to the have-nots, this wealth redistribution idea, and not necessarily high interest rates either. Okay, but my favorite is simply a demand for progress. Okay, and progress as defined through a steadily decreasing cost of living, steadily decreasing taxation, okay, steadily increase of the worth of your currency. Okay, that is to me the best way to set things free, to set the captives free in a gentle, gradual manner that's less traumatic for everybody. But that's the direction we got to go, and I think Trump gets that. And so no matter what people say, that I stand by him. I believe that he's a believer. I have a right to be wrong if I'm wrong, but I believe that he would just as soon see the whole world prosperous and the captives set free, not just in America, but all around the world. I support that. I don't find that hard to believe that this guy would want that. I want that. There's a lot of people that would want that. I'm not completely alone. I talk about feeling like an alien, feeling like I'm smarter than everybody else, but I know I'm not. I know there's plenty of people that get the things I'm saying. They say, yes, you're right. Let's give it a try. Let's push the envelope in the other direction as far as we can. Let people keep all their wealth, all their possessions. I don't care what other people have. All I'm saying is let other people have too. And if God says it's okay, and I believe fully, wholeheartedly that he does, that God says it's okay to ask that question, whose planet is this anyhow? Okay? And if we do ask that, we say, well, wait a minute. That means that if it belongs to all of us, that we inherently have a right to share in the wealth of the planet. All that stuff that's here. The gold, the silver, the oil, the timber, the fish in the sea, the agricultural land, all these valuable things, the water and the energy. All this stuff belongs to everybody. Okay? I don't care you think that's radical. The reason you think that's radical is you've been trained to think that's radical. But when Jesus Christ is ruling over the affairs of men, that is very clear to me is going to be how it's going to be. And it should be come clear to everybody. Everybody should understand these things. But anyhow, I think it's time to move on to current events here. But I've got to calm down. I can't be all stressed out. I mean, this thing in Vegas has me all out of whack, all upset and discombobulated, indignant. I cannot believe that hotel is not just being confiscated. Just confiscate the hotel. That's it. That's it. Take it away, man. You're done. That broach of security was way over the top. It is not okay. Not okay at all. Okay, and we're confiscating your hotel. We're going to give it to veterans. We're going to give it to survivors of this massacre, and in honor of the victims. Okay, the 59 dead. That's it. Done. End of story. That's what I would do if I was running the show. If I was law enforcement down in Vegas, I'd take it over, man. And I respect the Las Vegas authorities. Okay, I was living down there. They helped me out. Okay, in a situation, very dangerous situation with a very dangerous individual, and I respect and admire law enforcement all over the world. For the most part, I think they're decent, upright people. That they don't mind if problems got solved. They wouldn't mind if crime plummeted tomorrow if they got laid off and they had to do some other job. I have the highest respect and admiration for law enforcement. The same goes for the military. I like these guys, but the point is that these people have to start standing up to the feds, the federal agencies, because I think you got black hats in there. Those white hats within those federal agencies have to start putting their foot down and say, no, we're getting our way here. Your era is over. It's ending with the age. It's going out. It's out. It's obsolete. Gone. Okay, we don't need it anymore. We don't want black hats starting false flags. We don't want you troublemakers, you provocateurs, you instigators out there that will do anything to keep your position in power. We don't even care if you believe what you believe. We respect that you believe what you believe, but we're going to stop you because we believe the opposite. So we have a duty to expose these planned false flags, these frame-ups and all this kind of crap using patsies and everything else. We're done with you people, man. We're done. We the people are done. Okay? We're moving on, man. We're moving on to prosperity across the board, to being free. To Google, where do I want to live for the next month or 2 or 3 or however long I decide. Fiji Islands, Europe, the Bahamas, I don't know. Okay, that's the reality we could have here and now. No poverty anywhere in the world, except for temporary disruptions in the supply chain, these hurricanes and all these horrific natural disasters and events. Yeah, that'll cause some chaos for us temporarily till we fix it. But in the scheme of things, in the long run, we could fix all the problems. Nobody has to be poor. We could be rich all over the world, extra houses. In fact, I'm thinking seriously about going into designing indestructible houses. Build it up high enough, several feet higher than the record flood level. Let's see, that would solve your flood problem. And then you make it aerodynamic so it'll resist 200-mile-an-hour wind. Hell, if it'll resist a 200-mile-an-hour wind, it'll certainly resist any hurricane we've ever seen. And then fires, yeah, you make it absolutely impervious to fires. Yeah, so there we go. Earthquakes, there you go. Make it solid enough, foundation solid enough. You can shake it around, do some research and development, and know that it's not coming down. Fire, earthquake, tornado, flood. Okay, that's about all the natural disasters out there. So, it can be done. Okay, we can solve our problems, and that is the direction that I want us to go. That's all. That's why I do what I do. Is that, if somebody with a higher platform than me, I got this piddly little YouTube channel. I don't even promote it. I don't even try to send it to Google share or anything. If you want to listen to what I have to listen to, what I have to say, then, you're going to have to seek it out, okay? Because I'm really not interested in having a big audience. I just want to reach the conversation through other people, okay, vicariously, let's say. Okay, I don't need to have credit for anything. If something I say rings true and you can say it in a more concise, coherent manner and get it across to people, then do it and take credit for it. I don't care whose idea. To me, all the good ideas I've ever had came from above. They're from God inspired. Okay, you just get a glimpse of what God wants, and it's all crystal clear. It's like this muddy lake. All of a sudden, He gives you a glimpse of what it would look like if it was clear, and you can make that distinguish, that difference. And you say, hey, I get it. I get how we could have from what it is. And what it is a crap hole that's been shoved down our throats. And we need to reject that crap hole and under no uncertain terms and demand progress in the direction we want to go. And that is freedom. At the end of the day, that's what I'm talking about. It's all about freedom, folks. And unless you're financially free, you're not free. So why should any man be allowed to be born absolutely free? So including financial freedom with a silver spoon in his mouth, and others don't accept that. Well, it's tradition. It's just, we leave our wealth to our kids, even though they might be snot-nosed, bratty murderers. So you just say, well, it's tradition, and we're going to leave our riches to our children. Why would you do that when they didn't do anything for that money? It was you, wasn't it? So, I mean, I'm just saying, okay? And what Victor Hugo said, I prescribe to. Prosperity makes monsters, adversity makes men. But that's only temporary for this paradigm. We should all understand that. But with Donald Trump, it's a generalization, though, at best. Would Donald Trump said his kids, because they were born with silver spoons in their mouth, came out like monsters? Or anybody else that raised good kids, even though they were rich from birth, that they were brought up knowing they were fabulously wealthy because their parents would give them anything they want? It doesn't necessarily turn you into a monster. Sometimes you can't help your circumstances. But a lot of them, too, would say, yeah, I think everybody ought to be able to be born rich. If the system doesn't break down, and you've got to prove to me it would. Nobody can, because there's never been a time in history when humanity has been allowed to be free. That power was just too enticing. The power of money is too enticing to evil people. They cannot resist it. The allure is just